Today, we will explore a new tale called Magical Forest Quest. When four best friends stumbled upon an old tree with a glowing green light emanating from its roots, none of them could have imagined what would happen next. As the light engulfed them, they were whisked away in an instant and arrived at an enchanting clearing in a mystical forest. In this magical realm, animals talked to each other just like humans. Majestic deer with flowing manes brushed past them as they walked. Along winding paths lined with colorful flowers that sang sweet melodies, the air buzzed with the sound of tiny winged creatures with iridescent wings fluttering around them. Everywhere they looked, the friends marveled at the breathtaking beauty of this enchanted world. A wise old owl, perched on a nearby branch, hooted sadly, its amber eyes filled with despair. Upon seeing the kids, the animals rushed over, their faces etched with worry. A regal stag with antlers like polished silver stepped forward, his voice grave. "We need your help," he said, his words echoing with urgency. "Our land is fading away, and only you can save us." Confused and a little frightened, the children exchanged glances. They had no idea how they could possibly help these mystical creatures. "What's happening here?" one of the kids asked, his voice trembling slightly. The stag explained that their world was sustained by the magic of the ancient tree at the heart of the forest, but recently the tree's power had been waning, causing their once vibrant land to wither and fade. "The tree's magic is tied to the balance of nature here," another animal chimed in, his words urgent. "If it fades completely, our entire world will cease to exist." Overwhelmed by the gravity of the situation, the children felt a surge of determination. They had to find a way to restore the tree's magic and save this enchanting world. The wise old owl hooted softly, his gaze intense. "There is a way," he began, his voice raspy with age, "but it will require you to venture into the deepest part of the Whisperwood and retrieve the 3 lost stars of Everglades." The animals explained that these mystical stars held immense magical power and were scattered throughout the treacherous Whisperwood, an ancient forest shrouded in mystery and danger. Despite their apprehension, the children knew they had to accept the quest. As they prepared for their journey, the grateful animals provided them with supplies and guidance. The regal stag offered them each a special token, an amulet, that would protect them from harm and guide them on their path. With these amulets in hand and the advice of the forest's inhabitants ringing in their ears, the children ventured into the heart of the Whisperwood. The forest was like nothing they had ever seen before. Towering trees formed a dense canopy overhead, creating a mystical atmosphere that seemed almost otherworldly. Strange plants with glowing bioluminescent spores hung from the trees, casting an eerie glow on the forest floor. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, and the sounds of the forest were both fascinating and unsettling. Mystical creatures of all shapes and sizes seemed to emerge from the shadows, some friendly and curious, while others were clearly hostile. They encountered mischievous pixies, who tried to lead them astray, but whose playful taunts revealed hidden pathways. They met wise tree spirits, who shared cryptic messages that hinted at the stars' locations, and they faced fearsome creatures that tested their courage and determination. Throughout their journey, the children relied on their wits, bravery, and the strength of their friendship to overcome the challenges that stood in their way. One of the kids, quick-witted and agile, used their charm to outsmart tricky creatures and solve perplexing riddles. Another, known for their bravery, fearlessly confronted dangers head-on, protecting their companions when needed. A third, with a keen eye for detail, carefully observed their surroundings, noticing patterns and clues that helped them navigate the forest's mysteries. And the last, possessing a compassionate heart, showed kindness to those in need, even in the face of adversity. Together, they faced trials that tested not only their magical abilities, but also the bonds of their friendship. As they drew closer to their goal, the forest itself seemed to grow darker and more menacing, as if the malevolent forces opposing them grew stronger with each passing moment. But the children pressed on, their determination fueled by the hope of restoring the fading magic and saving the animals' world. Through acts of kindness, bravery, and quick thinking, they navigated the Whisperwood's perils, discovering that the true source of their strength lay not just in their individual abilities, but in the unity and love they shared as friends. At long last, after what felt like an eternity, the children emerged from the Whisperwood, blinking in the sudden brightness of the forest clearing. They had found all 3 lost stars of Everglades, each one pulsing with a soft, ethereal light. As they held the stars aloft, the forest around them seemed to stir, as if sensing the return of their lost magic. The withered tree at the heart of the clearing, which had loomed like a skeleton against the fading sky, suddenly burst into vibrant green, its branches reaching towards the heavens as if in worship. The animals erupted into cheers, their voices echoing with joy and gratitude. The regal stag, his eyes shining with happiness, stepped forward to thank the children. "You have saved us," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "The whisperwood has been conquered. The balance of nature is restored." As if in celebration of their victory, the flowers burst into bloom, their petals unfurling in a riot of colors. While the winged creatures swooped and soared overhead, their laughter tinkling like wind chimes. The children, exhausted but exhilarated by their adventure, basked in the adulation of their new friends. They had proven that even the smallest of heroes could accomplish extraordinary things when driven by compassion and unity. But as the celebration drew to a close and the time came for them to say their goodbyes, a bittersweet feeling settled over the group. The wise old owl, with a solemn nod, approached the children. "You have earned the right to take a piece of this world with you," he said, extending a gnarled talon. Each child reached out and touched the owl's talon, and in that instant they each received a magical gift. One received the ability to understand the language of animals, while another gained the power to heal the sick and wounded. A third was bestowed with the gift of foresight, allowing them to see glimpses of the future. And the last was given the power to control the elements, symbolizing the balance of nature they had helped restore. With heavy hearts and tearful goodbyes, the children stepped back into the portal, the magical clearing fading into a distant memory. As the light from the old tree enveloped them once more, they knew they were returning home. But they were no longer the same. Their adventures in the magical forest had changed them, shaping them into young heroes ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Back in their own world, the children carried the spirit of their adventure within them. The sounds of the forest echoed in their dreams, and the faces of their animal friends often crossed their thoughts. They knew that the magic they had experienced was real, and it had left an indelible mark on their souls, though they couldn't reveal what had happened to their parents or friends. For no one else could believe them, they understood the importance of their quest. They had learned that true strength lay not just in magical abilities, but in the bonds of friendship and the courage to face one's fears. They had discovered that magic existed, not just in fairy tales, but in the kindness of a friend, the thrill of adventure, and the unwavering belief in one's own potential.